Seuraavaksi meille puhuu innovaatiotoiminnasta ja muuttuvista liiketoimintamalleista Aalto-yliopiston tuotantotalouden laitoksen tutkijat Otto Mäkelä ja Naoto Nadayama. Olkaa hyvä, hyvät herrat.
Firstly, I will explain about innovation in retail, and then later Otto will discuss about more business model ideas. Firstly, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to explain something, especially in English. And last 2 years, Otto and I took part in a task team in R-Kioski, one of the traditional convenience store chain. And nowadays, R-Kioski's competitive advantage, let's say convenience, is challenged by several competitors. For example, here is a small supermarket with expanded opening hours. Or for example, here is a post office or gas station which sells daily products in a quite convenient location. And these are sometimes called category killers. And to survive in such a hard competition, our kioski decided to establish a task team, including many members from various departments. And Otto and I took part in the task team. So today's my presentation is about mainly what we learned from the task team. But anyway, the goal of this task team is to make discussions about change for more attractiveness in our kioski. And we discussed about change, especially rather than innovation itself. It is good to be more simple word, change rather than innovation, in my opinion. So anyway, what is the change in our kioski? Did you have some ideas, or could you imagine something about change in our kioski? And at that time, I had a strong wish for our kioski, quite my personal wish. That is, our kioski would sell some delicious Japanese food in convenience stores. That is my quite personal wish. But what a wonderful issue that I could buy the delicious Japanese food in our kioski. And of course, it's quite my personal wish, but if so, I will go there every day. So my personal and secret motivation in this task team is to push this idea in our kioski, and let's see what happened next. And but of course, this task team was proceeded by more formal ways. So today's my presentation follows such a process of the discussion in our kioski. Agenda is quite simple. What is the change in retailer? We discussed firstly in our kioski. And then, who can create a change? Kuka. And how is big change created? Mitten ideas. And then conclusion. And firstly, we discussed about what is a change in retailer. It's a quite fundamental question for retailers, I think. And of course, firstly, I have to say that change should be for profit. Of course, it's business. And here is a profit in retailer. And simply speaking, this is from 2 blocks. And increasing sales and eliminating cost. And simply speaking, increasing sales is from 2 blocks. Increasing a number of customers and increasing average sales for each customer. And eliminating cost side from eliminating goods cost and also operational cost. And as I said, that this project is for more attractiveness in our kioski. this project, it is task team mainly focused on the change for attractiveness. It means that for the upper side, increasing the sales, it's a focus. So next time we discussed about what is attractiveness in a retailer. And of course, as you know, retailer is located at the end of this distribution channel with strong communication with customers by real channel and internet channel. And when we say about customer side, customers purchasing products, services in our kiosk and consuming product and time at home or some other places. And what is customer value? What is attractiveness from customers? When I thought so, we concluded that it was a total image of feeling good from these all experience together. And consumers cannot divide such a feeling, whether it's from purchasing itself or consuming itself. It looks like a total image, we thought. But it's quite difficult to think about this and to seize about such a good feeling, because here is a retailer's distress. Customer's mind is always changing and unclear and uncertain. And it is influenced by current feeling, TV, maybe other retailers, maybe rumors, and also the shop itself. So retailers always think about what is the customer's value. It's a very mysterious. And what retailer can do is just imagine customers and create ideas something and change something, try and try and try. Like for price, product, layout, stuff, location, of course, campaign, website. For example, maybe put a panda in the shop. And the customers may think it's kawaii, or maybe no sense, or good feeling. But retailers cannot perfectly expect these feelings beforehand. So this is like a communication from this consumer side change and also retailer side change. And when I explain this slide, I always say that this is like a romance between man and women, or maybe man and man, or I'm not sure. But for example, before I got married with my wife, 8 years ago or something, I liked her. But I couldn't know her well. So for me, her mind was really, really mysterious. I couldn't understand her mind. So I always try to imagine her, and it is recorded anyway. But and try to create something like fashion or communication or like some support for my wife, special support or something. And I tried to attract her again and again. Then I got married. But because we could get some chemistry or harmony, or let's say jazz, between my wife and I. And it's similar from the customer side and retailer side. Both of them have a different role. And if they are different and their individual change, individual change could get together, sometimes it is a harmony. So change in retailer is like infinite approach towards mysterious customers' feeling, customers' good feeling, like this and this and this. And in the last presentation, Johanna and Helsingin yliopiston team focused on this side. And in our R-Kiosk project, we focused on this side. How we could establish and develop such a trial again and again from the retailer's side. And we discussed a bit details more. Who can create the change in retailers? And in my secret motivation, who can have a role to decide about the investment for the Japanese food? And when we think about the player of the change, of course, firstly we need to think about the chain management in retail. And it's quite simple. Here is a headquarters, and there are shops, and it's a hierarchy. And there are two kinds of change creators. First one is headquarters-driven change. Headquarters decides some changes and push changes with standardization approach with efficiency. It's simple. And then the other way is a shop-driven innovation, shop-driven change to adapt local value. And retailers always change from either or both of these changes. And please let me explain about shop-driven changes in 7-Eleven Japan. One day, a shop staff in 7-Eleven Japan noticed our customer tends to buy lunchbox in the morning. But lunchbox in the morning, it may be strange, but it's true. And the staff had tried to make a special corner for lunchbox in the morning. And at night, she checked the data, and she noticed that she was right, because sales was growing. And it was because the location of the shop is in an office building. And in Japanese cases, such a hard-working Japanese business people don't have enough time to buy lunchbox in the lunchtime. So they often buy such a lunchbox in the morning. And this shop staff noticed that local value. And these are like this routine from the hypothesizing and testing in practice and verification. This is like that from shop staff. It's a continuous approach, infinite approach from shop staff. And in the case of 7-Eleven Japan, it is supported by headquarters, like counselors support or training program or like knowledge management. But if I say that 7-Eleven Japan is just shop-driven company, it is a mistake. Reality is a balance among two creators. For example, in the case of product, shop managers can change the items in the shop by themselves. But it's just from item catalogs. And the item catalog is created by product managers in headquarters. So product manager can change items in item catalogs by themselves. So that it means that there are two kinds of changes, and the role of change is divided between shop and headquarters. On the basis of this kind of understanding, we discussed this in R-Kiosk. And firstly, we analyzed the existing role for changes about various functions through the interviews, homework, something. And then we reviewed them with the team members. And unfortunately, today, I couldn't explain details about the current R-Kiosk system. But what we learned is, firstly, R-Kiosk requires a something that motivates shop staffs more, and also more communication tools between headquarters and shops, between the two creators, and also special trainings for shops. Next one is, how is big change created? As the next year of this task team work, our kioski required us a more bigger change rather than such an organizational change itself. And it was a big chance for me to propose such a Japanese food ideas personally. And at the same time, this requirement reminded me a story from my uncle who worked in Honda, a Japanese automobile company, for 30 years. And he was a director in Honda. And it is a quite famous story about Honda. And in Honda's R&D department, there is a regular event to discuss about new technology and new products. And this is a 3 days, nights, quite intensive and sequential discussions together in a team. And first days, hot argument. Second days, understanding others. Third days, get tired of logic. Everyone become creative and conceptual on the basis of my uncle. And this is an equal status discussion, and including some pure discussion about why Honda should exist or something like that. And I heard that this discussion is mainly based on a proposal from employees. And this proposal includes some kind of risk and uncertainty and also some disagreement. And my uncle said, if 9 out of 10 people agree with your idea, it is too late to work. It means that it should be some conflict. And I like this story. And the requirement from our kioski reminded me this story. And I decided to propose this idea to our kioski. And our task team decided to establish some special event, routines to big changes. And we established 2 events. First one is a benchmarking, which was an annual event. And the second one is an idea competition. It's also an annual event. And we gathered ideas from the many employees, from both from headquarters and from shop managers. And then we screened ideas. But at the final stage, it means that do the change stage, this task team suddenly stopped because of the condition of our kiosk or something like that. So unfortunately, we couldn't see what happened about this proposal and this idea competition and benchmarking. But at least I can say here that I proposed this cooked meal ideas for our kiosk on the basis of 7-Eleven Japan's idea. And at that time, I couldn't recommend Japanese food. It's too heavy for our kiosk. So I recommended like a grilled makara or pasta or yatero idea. And of course, at that time, I added some a bit more formal ideas like Walmart cooperative supply chain ideas for our kiosk. Unfortunately, my 2 ideal ideas are screened out, and some other ideas are chosen as best ideas. But nowadays, at least in this June, we could see some hot stocks in our kiosk in several shops. So I'm not sure whether this is from my idea or not, but it is at least good step for me. And then in a benchmarking event, there was an idea that our kiosk should strengthen the coffee idea. And now I can see this approach in the shop. So I'm not sure whether these ideas are from this our event or not, but at least I'm personally satisfied in the ideas. This is my personal conclusion. And conclusion of this my presentation is what we learned. This is 3. Change in retailer is an infinite approach for customers' mysterious good feeling. And it should be balanced between headquarters and shops. And thirdly, it should be routinized by special events. So, this is my presentation about our kiosk. And next is Otto's turn.
Niin, vaihdetaan suomeksi sitten suomen kieleen tässä. Ja vuorineuvos Neilimo puhui liiketoimintamalleista ja hän puhui, kuinka kaupan-alalla ne on muuttumassa ja kuinka tärkeä tämä muutos on. Ja hän puhui ansaintalogiikasta liittyen liiketoimintamalleihin, niin nyt oma lähestymistapani on tässä esityksessä se, että puhun, että miten liiketoimintamallia voitaisiin käyttää liiketoiminnan kehittämisvälineenä. Ja käyttömahdollisuuksia on tietysti useita tällä käsitteellä, jonka Neilimo esitti. Hän esitti tämän kanvaksen, joka on tämmöinen tunnettu viitekehys tässä liiketoimintamallikeskustelussa. Ja nyt sitten, miten me tietojohtamisen näkökulmasta pyritään asiaa käsittelemään, niin puhutaan hiukan siitä. Eli liiketoiminnan ymmärtäminen ja viestintä, liiketoiminnan analysointi, johtamisen kehittäminen, tulevaisuuden suunnittelu, liiketoiminnan muutosten hallinta on potentiaalisia aiheita, joita liiketoimintamallin käsitteellä voidaan tarkastella. Ja nyt keskitytään erityisesti tähän liiketoiminnan ymmärtämisen ja viestinnän näkökulmaan. Eli me ollaan omaksuttu tämmöinen rajaesineen käsite liiketoimintamallin yhteyteen, ja jolloin nähdään, että liiketoimintamalli on tämmöinen rajaesine henkilöstön ja organisaation välisen tai henkilöstön eri osastoiden, mutta myös eri yritysten välisen ymmärryksen lisäämisessä. Ja tämä rajaesineitä, eli se on tämmöinen englanniksi boundary object-käsite, tämä on uudehko tietojohtamisen alalla, tämä on alkanut sosiologiasta tämä keskustelu. Vuonna 1989 on julkaistu tämmöinen keskeinen ensimmäinen artikkeli aiheesta, jossa tutkijat määritteli rajaesineet tällaisiksi esineiksi, jotka ovat konkreettisia tai abstrakteja, joita voidaan yhtäältä muokata paikallisiin tarpeisiin sopivaksi, mutta toisaalta ne on myös riittävän yhdenmukaisia, jotta niitä voidaan käyttää toimijoiden välisen ymmärryksen lisäämisessä. Ja tässä on nyt sitten keskeinen yhteys tähän liiketoimintamallin käsitteeseen, eli liiketoimintamallin rajaesineenä. Osterwalder ja Pigneux on 2010 julkaissut tämmöisen erittäin tunnetun kirjan Business Model Generation, jossa he esittävät, että jokaisen hyvän keskustelun lähtökohta tai tapaamisen keskustelun työpajan lähtökohta liiketoimintamalli kehittämisessä tulisi olla jaettu ymmärrys siitä, mitä liiketoimintamallilla tarkoitetaan. Ja mitä me nyt sitten teemme ja mikä on näkökulmamme, niin haluamme siirtyä nyt tämän tutkimuskonsortion puitteissa seuraavaan tutkimushankkeeseen, jossa tarkastellaan liiketoimintamallia rajaesineenä. Ja tämän hankkeen nimi on PetNets. Tämä on suomenkielinen nimi on verkostojen orkestrointi lemmikkieläinliiketoiminnan kilpailueduksi. Mistä tässä on kyse? Kyse on siitä, että tuotteista ja palveluista rakentuvien liiketoimintamallien johtaminen verkostoliiketoiminnassa, miten se tapahtuisi ja mikä tämä verkosto on. Eli täällä on keskellä lemmikkieläin omistajia, joilla on kokemusta, tietoa, odotuksia, ideoita, verkostoja ja osallistuu näihin verkostojen erilaisten sosiaalisten medioiden avulla. Heillä on harrastuksia. Sitten täällä ympärillä on erilaisia toimijoita, eli täällä on eläinlääkeketjuja, eläinlääkäriasemia, on eläinruokatoimittajia, on erilaisia palveluita, on erilaisia harrasteliittoja, vakuutuspalveluita, on lääkeyhtiötä. Ja ajatus on, että miten tämmöiset toimijat voisivat yhdessä luoda tälle alalle uuden liiketoimintamallin. Ja hieman taustatietoa tästä hankkeesta. Tämä on siis käynnistynyt jo viime vuoden lopulla. Ja tämä on myös Tekes-rahoitteinen hanke ja tässä on suuria suomalaisia yrityksiä mukana, eli Berner, Lähi-Tapiola, Mustia Mirri ja lääkeyhtiö Orion. Ja tässä hankkeessa on myös toteuttajana yliopistoina Helsingin yliopiston kuluttajaekonomian oppiaineen tutkijat sekä sitten meidän Aalto-yliopiston BIT-tutkimuskeskuksen tutkijat. Ja meillä on tässä myös kansainvälisiä tutkimuskumppaneita Japanista, Ranskasta ja Ruotsista. Eli tällainen johdatus tulevaan tutkimushankkeeseen tai käynnissä olevaan tutkimushankkeeseen, joka nyt kestää sitten ensi vuoden loppuun. Muutamia lähteitä aiheeseen liittyen. Kysymyksiä? Menkäämme eteenpäin. Kiitos.